Alright, Shalom Akim. Salakia, my phone cut off, but like as I was saying in my other video, that the trees are actually talking about people, man, okay? In the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter and the 8th verse, man, okay? Now again, man, the scriptures talk about parables, okay? Deep, dark things. If you're not in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, you will not understand these things, okay? Now, I'm gonna read this and bring out a few precepts to show you that the trees are actually examples of people. Okay, now this is the book of Genesis chapter 3 verse 8. It says, and they heard the voice of the Lord Yahweh power walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord Yahweh power amongst the trees of the garden. Okay, so they heard the voice of the Lord, man. The scriptures tell you plenty times that the voice of the Lord are his prophets. Okay, so Adam and Eve heard the prophets of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, and they knew they were going off, so they hid themselves among the heathen nations, man, among the trees, amongst the people. Okay, now this is a very quick precept to show you that the trees are talking about people. This is in the book of Mark. I'll just get to the point. Mark 8 verse let me start from verse 23. Okay, now this is when they brought a blind man to Yahweh. Okay, and it says, and he took the blind man by hand and led him out of the town, and when he had spit in his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught, and he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. That's the point right there. He said, I see men as trees walking. After that, he put his hands again upon his eyes and made him look up, and he saw Salakia, and he was restored and saw every man clearly. Okay, so there's a so there's the point that that the trees are a parable. In the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter, the trees it was a parable, as talking about men. Okay, it was actual people. Okay, it wasn't no trees that they actually hid themselves amongst. Okay, here's another very quick precept in the book of Judges. Now I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just get to the point and to kind of show you again that this is an example of people. Okay, this is in the book of Judges chapter 9 verse 7. Okay, it says, and when he told it to Jotham, he went and stood in the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice and cried and said unto them, hearken unto me, ye men of Chichem, and that God may hearken unto you. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them, and they said unto the olive tree, reign over us. Okay, so using trees as examples for people, man. Okay, now again, there's a few other scriptures such as Ezekiel 31 and down. Like when you read that, it also gives you an example of that, man. But just wanted to share that with the new Akim, the new brother who are waking up in this truth, to kind of share a few things in the scriptures that might open up your understanding according to what Yahweh Shemashah wants to give you to understand, man. Because the I'm a portion that the Lord gives is not the same for everyone, man. Okay, but just thought maybe I could share that and with that, shalom.